common law, which is the next area I want to get into. There's basically three forms of law. You've got common law, which is natural law, commercial law, which is the law of the sea, common law being the law of the land, and you've got trust law. Trust law, basically. Those are the three kind of areas you've got.
So common law, trust law, and the other ones there?
Common law,
Commercial.
which is the law of the land,
Yeah.
commercial law, which is the law of the sea, and trust law, which kind of meshes both of them occasionally.
Aaron, can I clarify that?
If you want, yeah.
Okay. There are various laws, okay? At the top of the realm is the law of God. Okay?
I was just going to get, if I could just, I'll just get into that.
Yeah, there's
Right,
five of them,
so as the gentleman said there, we've got the law of God. In law, basically, God created man. God created everything, and as a man on the land, right, you've got everything. And commercial law, common law is really very simple. It's like, treat others as you'd like to be treated yourself. Treat everything with respect. Take what you need and leave the rest. They're very simple kind of things that should resonate in the heart. I mean, there's plenty of cultures that have this stuff, and it makes good sense because it's got so much conflict. You know, and you could maybe extend some more that go into like a biblical area there, which are probably good things to go into. You don't start messing around with someone else's woman, all this kind of stuff. You don't nick stuff off of people. You know, there's and murder, this kind of stuff. These are good. These should resonate in your heart because as men and women, we know when we're doing right and we know when we're doing wrong. We do have a moral compass. Apart from 6% of the population who happen to be genetic psychopaths, and there's about another probably 10% on top of that that actually become psychopaths. Okay, but I'll get into that. But they don't have a moral compass. Okay, they don't have any feeling. They can't empathise with other people. But I'll get into that a bit more when we get into the shrinking stuff. So that's the first form of law, really. Is God's law, whatever you want to define God as being. But as far as the law is concerned, it's basically God created man. Man created corporations. So corporations are beneath you. And this is where the sticking point comes. It is really your rights in God's world, in the universe. You have more power than anything that man created. In other words, you've got right on your side. So if you're a natural man, and I use that term loosely, human being, and you've got all your inalienable rights intact, you haven't given them away, you haven't contracted them, then you're in a position of power. Now the corporations don't want you to believe that. They want you to think you're less than. They've gone through whole loads of social engineering and advertising and media and all the rest of it to make you feel less than. You must have this, you must have that. If you haven't got that, you're less than, and all the rest of it. They put on uniforms, uni one, form, it's there. And it's a scam. It's to make you have assumptions. It's to make you believe things. The more you believe this, the more you're going to act on it. You know, and with commercial law or legislation, it gets really complicated. That's the law of the sea. That's where you start getting into ownership, which of course is slavery. Because in God's law, you can't really own anybody. You can't really own anything. You know, look at cultures, like Native Americans. They don't concede that you can own land. You can be responsible for it. You can maybe do a bit of fine-tuning with nature. You know, if you see some animal suffering a bit, you might be able to help it along or whatever, or sort a few things out. But you don't own it. The earth owns you. You owe your living to this earth. You can't do it without it. So there's God's law, there's natural law. That's all quite easily defined, and it resonates in your heart. What's going on? And then you've got like commercial law, which is.
Would you say that's the realm of trust and equity in God's law?
Well, as I said, they kind of overlap, but I'll get to that when I get to the trust and equity, which I'm going to do after defining the commercial law.
There's a bit of debate about it, isn't it? If commercial law comes above common law, or common law comes above commercial law. What's your view on that?
Well, I just want to just roll through this so people can pick that up, and then we'll get into the more detailed stuff later, because it's important that people just really like go with the flow, because some of them are maybe hearing this for the first time. So, like in commercial law, everything becomes a commodity. You know, if you go and work in the workplace, there's a thing called a human resource. That's what you are, a resource. Everything becomes a resource. Any of you seen the film Avatar? Right, well, there's the process. A commercial operation lands on a planet, says, right, we own this, we're going to take it. And all the local guys who are with the nature, they say, no, you're not. And they go, oh, kill him. Take him out or kill him. Because you're just a resource, you don't count, you're just nothing. That's what it is. So there's the process. It's exactly the same process. There's no difference there. If you want to go, you know, see what happened to the Native Americans, if you want to see what happens, you know, that is the process. You know, and you either go along with that, or you know, there's some mass genocide and all other stuff going on. And after various offsprings and social programming, you kind of act, although in your heart you don't feel it's right because it's unnatural, it doesn't feel right. So in commercial law we have legislation and all the rest of it. I want to kind of bring it in to now into examples that happen. So, as a natural man or a woman, you have human rights. You are superior to any corporation. They have to hoodwink you, trick you, dupe you into contracting with them in order to have power over you. One of the reasons the world is like it is because you've unknowingly consented. If you knew that it was your bond that had created the money, you're the one that creates the wealth, but they're not going to tell you about it. Basically, what commercial government is if I say to you, can you give me your credit card, and I'll buy for you what I think you need. You just sign it. Would you think that was a good deal? Would you think that was rude? Would you trust me with that? Because that's what you do. That's the process with government. You're saying, yeah, we'll pay for that, yeah. We'll pay for that out of our bond. You don't even know it's there, but you've given guys like Tony Blair says, I think you need a wall. It's good for us. I think you need this, I think you need that, I think you need that, and they go along with it. And loads of people protest and go, oh, that's only a minority. But the majority of people, oh, we don't want to bother about it. You consent to it. You're tricked into consenting with it, you see, because to put it in a kind of traditional way, that the powers that be, if you want to, and I'm in a bit of artistic license here, I don't want to really tread on any religious toes, but the devil, he's not going to have any buck stop with him. He needs to hoodwink you so the buck stops with you. And you look at the fine print on the contract. So you can't blame him. He goes, no, give me the 12 times. It's all there. You consented to this. You went along with it. That was it. Because ignorance of the law is no defence. Let those who are deceived be deceived. That's Roman law. And if you're deceived, well, that's your fault. You should have found this out. You should have checked this out because you're liable. Or rather, your person is liable. And let's have a look at the invention of this commercial aspect of your person. Your person that was created, first, a natural man cannot contract with a corporation. A natural man or woman cannot contract with a corporation, cannot do it. Only a corporation can contract with a corporation. And your corporation is your person. That legal fiction, that's your vessel in commerce. And whenever you get your bills, they come to you with a Mr. or a Mrs. or a Ms. and it's all written in capital letters, and your address and everything like that. That's addressed to your person, your legal fiction, and some people will call it your straw man. That's how you operate in commerce. And that commercial organisation, be it the council, be it the DVLA, or whatever, the National Health Service, all those things, they're dealing with your legal fiction, your person. That little address that you get joiner through, and you have to consent to be that when you sign. You sign, that's what it is. And there's loads of stuff that's completely ridiculous and farcical about this, because the National Health, they're treating your person, which is a piece of paper, which is your birth certificate. The fact that